your 10 at 10 does continue with story number 4. From looting to price gouging, LA County DA Nathan Hochman is vowing to come down hard on people taking advantage of the SoCal wildfires. On your sides, Kristine Lazar sat down with the DA to see how he plans to protect people from getting ripped off, Kristine.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about this, and he's even said that some of these looters could face life in prison if they have other strikes against them. The DA told me he views his position as the opportunity of a lifetime, even though the worst natural disaster of our lifetimes happened just more than a month after Nathan Hochman took office. Now he is laser focused on protecting fire victims from consumer crimes, but does the DA's office have the manpower to do so?
That if you want to go ahead and loot, if you want to commit burglary, if you want to engage in grand theft, you will be punished to the full extent of the law.
Oh, this is personal. This is absolutely personal.
LA native and newly elected LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman has been outspoken about his disdain for anyone who re-victimizes someone who's displaced or has lost their home due to the wildfires.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. These people are despicable. They should be ashamed of themselves, and we will go after them criminally. We can file civil lawsuits against them, and we will publicly shame them.
What kind of penalties are these people going to face?
On the price gouging front, those crimes actually, depending on how many you commit, they can be held consecutive. So you can be looking at 6-month prison terms, but run them consecutive.
Distancing himself from former DA George Gascon, who enacted a no bail policy while in office.
You know, I'm a different district attorney than my predecessor. Particularly if you engage in these crimes in this crisis, we're going to seek maximum sentences against you.
Now, all the other crime doesn't stop, the crime that LA has to deal with on a daily basis without these fires. Does your office have the capacity to deal with everything coming out of the fire zones as well as everything that occurs on an average day?
Yes, and here's why. I've got over 750 prosecutors that are fired up. These are people who also live in the community, who have also had friends and colleagues and people in the court system and secretaries and support staff who've lost everything. They are absolutely fired up to bring justice to those criminals who are taking advantage of the situation, as well as doing their day-to-day operations and the cases that they already had.
Hochman says his office has been flooded with price gouging complaints, and he's aware of a grassroots effort from realtors and renters who have started spreadsheets to identify listings that appear to be illegally inflated.
We're working with the people who file the complaints. They then get assigned to investigators to investigate. And we want to make sure that whatever case we bring against a price gouger is a righteous case. You know, beyond a reasonable doubt that we're going to prove in a court of law. Because if we do go after these price gougers, we're going to go after them hard.
But Hochman insists his goal is not to fill our jails and prisons.
That's the failure of a criminal justice system. The goal is to actually deter these criminals from committing these crimes in the first place, thus saving a whole lot of victims in the process.
Hochman and his family were evacuated for 10 days, and his sister lost her home in the Palisades fire. And as I mentioned, he's from LA, so it's very personal to him. He was also on a task force during the riots in the Northridge earthquake, so he has dealt with these kind of, big disasters impacting our city at once. So we'll see. I mean, he's been very vocal about it. It's on tape. We'll see if it actually happens.
It truly has been, and we keep hearing these stories pop up of different people taking advantage of these homeowners that have lost everything.
Which is terrible. You're re-victimizing them. It's really terrible.
Thank you, Kristine.